can't stop seeing his face.
It fades. I want to tell you it goes away forever, but I'd be lying. Look at us. Look at this place. We're in a war. Not everybody knows it yet, but it's happening. People die.
I wonder if he knew.
Well, he does now. He was a soldier. He was a threat. He was an imperial threat. You and I are here now because he's dead. It had to be done.
I'm gonna watch me some Andor and podcast with Candor about this Star Wars show on Disney Plus. This is the second season, but it also is the last one. And Disney pulled the fast one, putting out 3 episodes at once. Yes, I am watching Andor and talking with Candor. It's what the Mandalorian man's for. That is my podcast show. This is the second season, but it also is the last one. It should lead right up to Rogue One, and we all know how that goes. This is a podcast on Andor called Andor with Candor, about that Star Wars show on Disney Plus. This is the second season, but it also is the last one. It should lead right up to Rogue One, and we all know how that goes.
Greetings, Star Wars fans, and welcome back to The Mandalorian Man Presents Andor. Wait a second. Wait one more. With Candor. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Star Wars Day officially. It is Sunday, May the 4th be with you, 2025. It's Sunday morning, and I am back already. When I last spoke to you, it was already the 4th. So technically, I'm recording my second episode of the day, even though yesterday started, or the previous episode started yesterday. It finished today. I recorded and watched 3 episodes of Andor yesterday, recorded 3 episodes of Andor with Candor yesterday, and I'm hoping to do the same thing today. With this 4th episode, and hopefully we'll get 5 and 6, and we'll be completely caught up. And those of you who are subscribed to this channel, to this podcast, to this YouTube, show, whatever, wherever you're finding us, it'll be like, whoa, 6 episodes in one day. That's the plan. That is the plan, and hopefully I will be able to do it. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into episode 4. Ever been to Ghorman? I was right. We got a time jump. What I'm starting to see is that it's almost like we're getting 4 mini movies. Each one is a couple hours long, and they come out once a week. They're broken up into 3 chapters, 3 episodes, but it's almost like it's its own little adventure, and then we move on to the next one, where the first episode was called 1 Year Later. This episode opened up with 1 year later, and how many of you thought, wait, did I accidentally start watching the first episode again? Because I certainly did, and then I realized, no. It is now BBY 3, Before the Battle of Yavin. BBY, I was thinking of... Before the Battle of Yavin, which of course is the Death Star explosion. So we've jumped ahead a year, and I do like that when they just don't overly force feed us things. You just kind of got to figure it out for yourself. This episode opened up with Bix having another dream with that Dr. Gorst. Dr. Gorst, you're the worst. No, you have to be Dr. Gerst, you're the worst. Yeah, that works. Where this guy is now torturing an Imperial soldier that we've never seen. It really is just about Bix having this guilt and post-traumatic stress of they did some mission, some unnamed mission, and along the way, this Imperial guard, this Imperial soldier, saw Bix's face, and because of that, Andor's like, you're dead, shoot you, boom, you go to space heaven. That's exactly what happened. We just didn't see it. We kind of, they had a discussion about it, and that's how we were told. Like, we weren't told what the mission was. We weren't told what happened. It was just, it was done, it was, what do they call it? Narrative explanation. I can't think of the term. There's a term for it. Exposition. It was exposition done when it wasn't overly exposition-y, where it was done well. That's what I thought of it as. With the two of them, most of this episode is them, Bix trying to deal with that, them trying to kind of live their life while they're waiting for the next thing to happen from Luthen. I'm okay now with not a ton happens because I know that this is a 3-chapter story, and probably the next 3 are going to be another year. We're just getting closer and closer and closer, and that's how we're getting to Rogue One. These are these sweeping, changes, and we move ahead, but we get caught up with where we were originally with Andor and Bix. It's now they're living together in a hotel, not a hotel, in a apartment. They go shopping. They worry about hiding their face. Bix worries about some mission we went on, and then Luthen calls Andor away to go check out Ghorman. I almost said Candor. Go check out Ghorman. What's it, Ghorman? And he's like, I don't know. Something's going on. You need to go check it out. Just you. Leave Bix alone. She'll be fine. Well, the episode ends with her taking some sort of drop on her tongue, some sort of drug. I always notice that, I don't always notice, but I notice in a lot of TV shows, it's like, oh, there's a new way of taking drugs, a new drug delivery. Like, was it in the Batman? They put drops in their eyes or something? Or that on Penguin, drops, I think there were drops in Arrow. Like, the people love to, the new way people do drugs are liquid drops. They take essential oils right on their tongue or in their eyeballs. But she's definitely on some sort of blue drug. But that's pretty much everything that happens with them. We get a lot of Cyril in this one. I was like, oh no, his mom again. But she's checking in on him. He now works in Ghorman. Now, the mom thinks you've been demoted. The mom thinks you're just working with spiders. This is stupid. No one even cares about Ghorman anymore. Your uncle used to love it, but he doesn't wear it anymore. But really, he is there because Dedra put him there. And he is kind of working for her on this job undercover as part of I think he's there to start getting that insurgence, that resistance, because unbeknownst to that insurgents or resistance, he knows he was being listened to. He actually said things to his mother so that they would hear it, and they think, we should let him know about us, the Ghorman Front, and they did let him know. He went to a meeting. He met the guy who's from Inglourious Bastards and The Strain, scary German guy in those movies. In this, he seems to be, are they speaking like space French? That's what it sounds like. But he seems to be the leader of this insurgence. And it's not really an insurgency yet, it feels like. It feels like just a concerned citizens who are worried because Tarkin at one point killed all these citizens, unarmed citizens. They put up a memorial, and they told you the Empire will never do anything to diminish this memorial. And now they're building a new building there. And they won't say what it is, and it's going to be in the shadow of the memorial. We know it's going to be an armory. They think it's going to be an armory. That's the rumor. So Cyril ends up going to Cyril. Did I get it right? Ends up going to this meeting, and he's they think he's there for, for the good of the job, for the good of the the whatever they're working on, the good of the mission. He's there, and he told Dedra all about that, and he thinks he's going to get in. He says they've been watching my apartment, they've been checking on me. He tied this like floss, basically space floss, to a door, and when he came home it was broken, so proof that they broke into his apartment. But I'm wondering if some of the faces he made, either he's really good at acting, either he feels bad betraying them, or if they're getting through to him a little bit, where he's like, maybe they're not, these terrible people that are getting in the way of the Empire. Maybe they're just, looking out for the best of their people, because what we know is, that the Empire wants the mineral in the which is underground, and the drilling to get to it is going to screw up the whole planet. We do have moments where Dedra is, in the Imperial meeting. She's not at Ghorman. She's still, is at Coruscant, at those meetings. Now, I joked last episode about like, how much of the wedding do we need to see? How many of these ceremonies do I need to see? Or at least I thought that. I don't know if I said it. But then I'm watching like these meetings, and I was like, I think I could sit in on a full bureaucratic meeting of the Empire and just listen to what they have to say. I found that stuff fascinating and interesting. Plus, it's just the way it's this weird, like, bleached white, like completely the outfits that I just love the whole look of it, the aesthetic. And it seems like some of the guys are worried because they're arresting too many people. They're rounding up too many people. It's the Empire. I mean, imagine having a government like that. They're like, one guy speaks up and is like, we can't handle all the arrests. Like, thank you for being public with me. But it turns out this guy is also working for Luthen. I remember him from the previous season. He kind of goes down this elevator. He talks to Luthen. He hasn't found out anything, but he mentioned Ghorman. Something's going on with Ghorman. He's almost positive that Dedra's working with Ghorman. I think that's how they got it. That's how I think they got the information. I just watched the episode, but I'm trying to remember. So that's what led Luthen to go to Andor and say, "You gotta go to Ghorman." So he's like, all right, I'm going to go to Ghorman. I'm going to go to Ghorman right now. What else happened? Look at that. Look, what a seamless segue is that Mon Mothma is trying, she has some voting, like some acronym. I don't know what it means. She's trying to get everyone to vote this way, and she's talking to all these people. She's glad-handing all these different senators and whatnots. And there's this one dude who I think represents Ghorman. He's like, I can't vote against the Emperor on this. It would be against my people. Well, little does he know, helping the Empire and the Emperor is actually against your people, buddy. But it's interesting when you hear, I can't vote against the Emperor. Like, I can't. It's not just this quote-unquote evil galactic villains going through planet to planet. There's still like this sense of government and rules and bureaucracy. I think I'm saying that word, using it correctly, which I find fascinating. That like, they're still trying to make this planet work. But that's pretty much what we get from Mon Mothma. We haven't heard about her friend being killed. I assume he was. We don't know yet. And we got that guy, Wilmon, who I definitely looked him up, and I thought, wasn't his name Jonathan? Literally, I thought the character's name was like Jonathan or something. No, it's Wilmon. Now, maybe they said Will, and that's why I thought it was a very common American name. Maybe they said Will in the last episode. And I was like, was he in the previous season? Yeah, he was. He's already been in, he was already in the original first season. I don't remember him. He was probably a much younger lad. But he is working with Space Force Whitaker. He delivered something to them with fuel or energy. I'm watching it. I'm like, wait, I don't know what that is. Looks like an engine, and he needs to teach them how to use it. And he's like, I'm going to just teach you, and then I'm going to go. And Forrest Whitaker's like, no, man, you're staying until we don't need you anymore. I like the voice he puts on. And of course, Forrest Whitaker and his character, didn't he? Well, I want to say he's in Rogue One, but I feel like he might have originated in the cartoons first, then in Rogue One. I could be wrong, but there's something that made me think that, and I do not know if I am right on that. But is this a short episode? It might be. This might be considered the shortest episode I've done so far. And maybe it's because I've got to run to Dunkin' to get some coffees for my wife and myself, a Sunday morning tradition. Did I cover everything? I liked seeing Cyril in, working. Oh, I liked that they were listening in on him. I liked all that stuff. He was even using his mother, who was in space curlers, getting her hair space dried. But again, if I don't see her in the next episode, I'm happily fine with that. I like that he's being brought in. He's being used to the point where he can't even tell his mother how important his job actually is. And he's being used with Dedra. But at the same time, maybe he is maybe the insurgents, the Ghorman front is getting to him. Maybe. So all signs point to Ghorman. We got, wait a minute. Is it Saul Guerrera? Did I just remember that off the top of my head? And I'm going back to IMDb, and I'm going to Forrest Whitaker. And here we go. Wait, there's a lot of people in this cast. Did I already go by Forrest? Where is you, Forrest? Wait, Saul Guerrera. Wow, Saul Guerrera. I thought it was Saul, like Better Call Saul. No, it's Better Call Saul Guerrera. Okay, so we know he leads a group and of insurgents that we meet in Rogue One. We know that he's now getting trained on some machine or some fuel thing by Wilmon, and I assume we're going to see him in future episodes. This wasn't just a little cameo. So we got that going on. We got Andor going to Ghorman. We got Cyril already on Ghorman. So I can't wait for the moment where they lock eyes. We have Dedra, who was like, "Hey, I can work with you," to one of her coworkers. He's like, "I don't need your work. I'll call you if I need you." They don't realize she's actually working on something big. They're still trying to figure out where Andor is. So we got that going on. Luthen knows Ghorman. All signs are pointing towards Ghorman, which of course that's the title of the episode. Yeah, and we have Bix now worried that she is on some sort of space drug. Space drug. That's that could be. I was going to say Space Lord Mother. Wasn't that a Monster Magnet song in the 90s? Anyway, I did not go into this expecting to quote Monster Magnet today, but here we are. So, my friends, that is it for this episode. I am hopefully going to be back with another one today, but that's after I go get some Dunkin' Donuts. This episode is not brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts, but my caffeine addiction will soon be brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. So I will talk to you in a little while, or you'll listen to me at some other point, but I'll see you for the next episode, episode 5, fairly soon. Until then, you can find me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except TikTok, which is Geek Mentality Mike. You can find me on Facebook, Fans Not Experts, YouTube, Fans Not Experts. That's because the website is fansnotexperts.com. I will talk to you soon. Happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And until the next episode, may the 4th be with you. There, that worked, right?
Let's go! Fans Not Experts.